I'm a believer that the way we're designed as human beings is to not overwork ourselves, but to definitely be working. So there's a balance. I take at least an entire day of 24 hours not working, if not a little bit more, but that way I can have a balance of energy, because if I try to work throughout the entire 7 days, then I'm going to get burned out. I'll also find myself being less efficient than if I'm working less and just being more focused on it. That's a huge part of it. Spending time with my family, making sure I'm spending time with friends, reading my Bible even. If I'm not doing that, then my mind's all over the place. Those things are what kind of keep me on track in terms of work ethic and focus. But when it comes to actual creative energy, I also find that there are times that I come into the studio and I'm not necessarily feeling inspired to create, but I do know that as soon as I'm starting to draw and starting to create something, the inspiration can start to flow. A lot of artists I know are not willing to create until they feel inspired. And I see a lot of that make it so that the artist doesn't really live up to what they could live up to, because if we wait for inspiration, that we're not going to create very much. We're not going to create as much as is necessary to not just establish a career in artwork, but to create our best work. Some of my best artwork came when I wasn't inspired, and then I started making something, found a spark of inspiration through the process, and continued through it. I find that most days, actually. Some days I do come in totally inspired and I want to make something, but that's not the norm for me. That's not the norm. But I think it's still really important to put that time in to create.